Bad things well said.
Welcome back to Bad Things Well Said, where we dissect the headlines so you don't have to. It is the first full week of 2026, and I think we can all agree that New Year's transition wasn't so much a smooth segue as it was a violent ejection.
It really was a collective national lurch, wasn't it? We weren't gently ushered into the future. We were thrown headfirst into a parallel universe where reality has, outsourced its quality control.
To a comedy writer's room, apparently. I thought maybe, just maybe, December had taken the worst of the absurdity with it. I was so wrong. The mood out there is bizarre, it's sharp, and it's completely justified.
It is. This week, the line between, being roasted on national television and actually governing has just evaporated. If we're reviewing the week, we have to start there.
We absolutely do. So we've got 3 things for you today you just cannot miss. First, we have to unpack the cultural nuclear bomb that effectively vaporized the mayor of Reykjavík.
Through a comedy special, yes. Yeah. And then we're digging into the nexus of coffee, conspiracy, and political power, the Kaffi Vest theory.
It links a social democrat primary challenge with a very trendy bistro and, of course, a very well-funded national broadcaster.
And finally, my personal favorite,
the absurdity of infrastructure failure. We're talking about the brand new waterslide that concussed so many children in its first week that they had to shut it down.
Lethal leisure activities. That is the tone for 2026.
It is. But before we plunge headfirst into that glorious muck and hopefully avoid a neck injury, we have to remind you about 2 essential specials we released last week.
Right. If you need the full forensic autopsy of the country, economy, politics, the state of society, you have to listen to Iceland 2026. Archaeology of the future.
It's not pleasant, I'll warn you, but it is deeply, profoundly necessary.
And if you drive, or frankly, if you just pay for anything, you need the kilometer tax special. We break down why this whole new system is, structurally a scam.
We did a whole show on it because fuel prices here don't just change, they perform.
They rocket up.
They feather down. When you ask why, you get the holy trinity of excuses. Expensive inventory, global markets, and of course, header redest.
We explained exactly how this new kilometer tax, the Kilometre gold, is just another beautifully packaged way to fleece you.
So if you want the shortcuts to being well-informed and, sufficiently outraged, those 2 specials are waiting.
And you know the drill. Warning, don't subscribe. It might make you think.
And nobody wants that in January.
Okay, let's start with it. The cultural bomb. The Áramótaskaupið, the New Year's comedy special.
We have to explain this for anyone listening who isn't Icelandic. This isn't just like an SNL sketch show.
No, not at all. To the rest of the world, it's entertainment. To Iceland, it's the national hearth. It is this annual ritual where 95% of the country sits down to process the last year's trauma and incompetence.
It's a mechanism of social accountability, and it is terrifyingly powerful. It actively determines who matters. To be mocked on the Skaup is validation.
Right, it means you're relevant enough to ridicule. But to be ignored, that's something else entirely.
And the target this year was just brutal. Mayor Björg Hilmisdóttir. They didn't just criticize her policies, they performed Operation Invisible Mayor. This wasn't satire, it was, what did you call it?
Ontological negation. They essentially erased her from existence. There were 3 separate sketches, all built on the exact same premise.
She is physically present, standing right there, but completely unrecognized. Not by journalists, not by the public.
And in the most vicious part, not even by her own family, in her own home. It was chilling.
The joke's power was in its precision. It wasn't about her being incompetent, it was about her being irrelevant. It weaponized a political truth.
And this is where the data becomes the weapon. This wasn't just some, arbitrary cruelty from the writers. They had proof.
A December poll, just before the show, it showed only 2.1% of residents named her as their preferred candidate.
That poll number became the trigger. The Skaup saw the 2.1% and acted as judge, jury, and executioner. It stopped being a mirror on society and became an active political combatant.
And the mayor's response to this, this is what really nails the coffin shut. She didn't hold a press conference. She posted a TikTok video.
She's re-auditioning for her own job on an app designed for teenagers. The sheer desperation. It just perfectly demonstrates the show's power. Political legitimacy now exists somewhere between the national hearth and teenage dance trends.
Well, speaking of legitimacy in political theater, the fallout from the Skaup leads us straight to the Kaffi Vest samsarith, the Kaffi Vest conspiracy.
A textbook example of opportunism. Sigmundur David Gunnlaugsson, the Center Party leader, he seized on this power vacuum immediately. He started fanning these flames of suspicion, suggesting this wasn't satire.
But a coordinated political hit job.
Exactly. His theory is that the whole attack was orchestrated to remove the invisible mayor and smoothly install a favored challenger.
And you have to map out the triangle of suspicion to see why it gained traction. First, you have the Social Democratic Alliance, the mayor's own party.
Then you have RÚV, the national broadcaster, which makes the Skaup, and conveniently, RÚV got a controversial 50 million ISK funding boost just days before the broadcast.
Which looks a lot like payment for services rendered, doesn't it?
It does. And then connecting them all, you have the so-called Kaffi Vest elite, this social circle around a very trendy bistro.
And here's the smoking gun. The detail that makes the conspiracy so appealing. Peter Martinsson, the challenger who announces his candidacy, what was it, a day after the show?
Less than 24 hours after she was annihilated on television. And he just happens to be the co-owner of Kaffi Vest.
And his co-owner, Gisli Martin Baldursson, a prominent RÚV host.
So the timeline is funding boost, political assassination, challenger announcement. And it all centers on a coffee shop co-owned by the media and the politician. It's almost too neat to be a coincidence.
Which means it almost certainly is a coincidence, but that doesn't make it any less satisfying, does it?
Not at all.
But hold on, isn't this the classic MO of the center party? To manufacture this drama. If it was such a hit job, why make it so obvious with the RÚV host co-owning the place?
But that's the genius of it, isn't it? The best cover is hiding in plain sight. You have the politician running as the outsider who simultaneously owns the definition of the latte-sipping insider establishment.
And look at Peter Martinsson's background. He's running on this common man appeal.
But who is he really? A former celebrity footballer. Played for Stoke City? Oh, only 18 appearances, but a huge legend at Hammarby.
He's the ultimate paradox. A celebrity athlete, co-owner of the elite social hub, campaigning as the humble man of the people. It's a perfect political contradiction.
Speaking of contradictions and fate, we have to just pause to note the fate of Bjarni Benediktsson.
Right. For the first time in, over a decade. The Independence Party heavy hitter, who resigned last March, he was completely absent from the scope.
Not skewered, not mocked, not even mentioned.
He was deemed unworthy of ridicule. Political death, it turns out, isn't being the punchline. It's being edited out of the script entirely. To be hated is to be relevant. To be ignored is just total obsolescence.
The Skaup also ignited another furious class war this week, but over language, which is peak January in Iceland.
Oh, the málfarsfordómar, the language prejudice scandal. They ran a sketch mocking the Minister of Education, Guðmundur Ingi Kristinsson.
Mocking his working class way of speaking, portraying him as an uncultured buffoon. And let's remember, the man was just recovering from open heart surgery in December. The timing was awful.
And the linguist Eiríkur Ragnvaldsson immediately jumped in, criticizing the show, saying that mocking an elected official's dialect just reinforces elitism.
It's the ultimate statement on the cultural elite, isn't it?
Yeah.
They can tolerate political corruption, bureaucratic failure, but they absolutely cannot handle a misplaced vowel sound.
The battleground for class warfare is now a mispronounced word.
All right, let's pivot from the cultural wars to the physical reality war, starting with the climate glitch.
Meteorologists confirmed it this week. 2025 was the warmest year on record, average temperature of 5.2 degrees Celsius.
And now we're living through a green January. The mild weather, the lack of snow.
Yeah.
This isn't just an inconvenience. For a nation whose entire character is forged by surviving brutal winter, this is an existential dread.
It really is. It raises the terrifying question, who are we if we don't have blizzards to unite us against a common enemy?
We're just northern Denmark struggling with high heating bills.
And speaking of bills, let's talk about the new metered road to ruin, the kilometre tax, implemented January 1st.
The intention, which, sounds rational, was to tax mileage, not fuel, to make sure EV drivers contribute to infrastructure.
Right. And the immediate effect, they abolished the fuel excise tax, so gasoline dropped by 96 ISK per liter overnight. That was the political gift wrap.
But now you face 6.95 ISK per kilometer,
Yeah.
or 6.00 ISK for electric and hydrogen.
The government giveth and the bureaucracy taketh away with a massive administrative headache, because the implementation is absurd.
You have to log your odometer readings monthly via Iceland.is.
And if you forget to digitally submit your mileage on that government website, which looks like it hasn't been updated since 2008, what happens?
Low, 20,000 ISK fine. The system incentivizes honesty, not through civic duty, but through the threat of a massive penalty for forgetting to use a buggy website once a month.
That brings us perfectly to the absurdity in action. The dragon fiasco.
Ah, the dragon. This new enormous water slide in Þorlákshöfn opened mid-December.
And was closed indefinitely by January 3rd.
A stunningly short lifespan. Because the final section of the slide, creatively nicknamed the washing machine, was so violent it caused multiple concussions and back injuries in 1 week.
We just prioritize speed over safety, don't we? We build things so fast that we skip the essential step of ensuring they don't, fundamentally harm people.
But now contrast this localized, concussion-inducing chaos with the global reach of the Icelandic medical industrial complex.
The geopolitics of cod skin, a phrase I never thought I'd say.
It's the ultimate irony. Did you see the news from Switzerland? The victims of that tragic Crans, Montana nightclub fire, they're being treated with Kerecis omega-3 burn.
Which is a cellular fish skin graft produced right here from the Westfjords.
It's a miracle cure. We export this high-tech, life-saving skin to treat victims of European disasters.
And here's the painful local irony. The very region producing this high-tech medical export, the Westfjords, suffered severe power outages this week in Kilometre.
We can heal the world's burns with fish skin, but we can't keep the lights on in the factory that makes the cure. That, in a nutshell, is the modern Icelandic state. Global innovation, local collapse.
Okay, let's run through some quick hits because the absurdity volume was just unprecedented this week. First, the Wegovy class war.
Right, semaglutide. Over 14,000 users now. The data shows 92% of them are paying out of pocket.
It's not a health trend, it confirms a Wegovy class divide. Weight management is now a luxury good only for the affluent.
Then there's the geopolitical paranoia. The U.S. raids Venezuela, and our foreign minister, Þorgerður Katrín Gunnarsdóttir, offers the most diplomatic response possible. I think it's good that he is gone.
But the real trigger was Katie Miller's social media post, a map of Greenland, captioned, "Soon."
And of course, Reykjavík went into immediate high-alert panic about U.S. expansionism. It doesn't matter that it was a random post. We just love the drama.
Right. But all that is just a footnote compared to the most important international development of the week.
Which is
Iceland has officially withdrawn from the 2026 Eurovision Song Contest.
a profound tectonic loss for the national psyche. We can now focus entirely on which of our politicians is going to vanish next.
And amidst all this chaos, the invisible mayor, the concussing slide, the language wars, a quiet political shift is happening.
The Independence Party is surging in the capital polling. They've reached 35.5% support, a post-banking crash high for them.
So the lesson of the first week of 2026 is that chaos on the left and vanishing incumbents don't benefit new energy. They benefit the stable, boring, established right.
It's the Sisyphean struggle of Icelandic politics. You roll the rock of absurdity up the hill, only to have it flatten the Social Democrats and boost the Independence Party.
On a more serious note, though, amidst the farce, we did lose a significant cultural contributor this week. Oddur Magnússon passed away unexpectedly in a car accident. A sober moment that grounds us.
Yeah. Looking ahead, if you are driving, and you probably are, to log that mileage, please note the forecast for January 5th through 11th. There's a black ice warning on Tuesday.
And the best chance for the aurora will be midweek.
And high wind gusts are expected near Hafnarfjall by Saturday. So stay off the new water slides, be careful on the roads, and maybe avoid being seen if you're a major political figure.
This week has confirmed that the real challenge of 2026 isn't navigating politics. It's navigating the sheer volume of information intended to make you forget you still have to pay 6.95 ISK per kilometer.
We dare you not to subscribe. We absolutely dare you.
The voices in this podcast were generated by AI. However, all information, facts, claims, concepts, and the script itself were prepared, editorially reviewed, and are the original work of a human author.